Mr. D.D. Gale. Welcome, and let's talk about it with Welcome, and let's talk about it with Welcome, and let's talk about it. Welcome, and let's talk about it with Minister D.D. Gales. Mature conversations for mature adults with mature adults. Hey, y'all. Thank you for joining me today. We are going to be looking at some crazy TikTok videos. Now, there are a lot of TikTok videos out there. We're going to be going through them. This is one of my new podcasts that I'm doing. And so this one is going to be focusing on some of the most triggering, crazy TikToks that I've seen and that I want to talk about. So let's get started. I picked 3 TikToks, and they are normally going to be in order of how much they got on my nerve. But these videos that I'm about to show you today, all 3 of them equally enraged me that I couldn't even number them in order of severity because all 3 of them were absolutely insane to me. So we're going to start with the first video. Now, the first video, let me just set it up for you. You can read it. It said 15-year-old boy demolished his mom's home because she took his phone. Now, I got 3 kids. My baby will be 28 this year. My baby boy, because my baby is a girl, my youngest boy, he will be 31 this year. And then my oldest boy will be 32 this year. So those are my 3 kids. And I have 2 grandchildren. So I couldn't even imagine what it's like for young mothers today or mothers today to deal with raising their children in this social media driven society. So I'm going to start off by saying that before I show this video, because a lot of people can see this video and look at it and they got so many thoughts and opinions about the mom. And I do. I got my opinion about the video. But we have to think about, us as parents, especially as older parents, we grew up in a totally different time. So we have to look at it at that standpoint before we judge this mom. So let's go ahead and share the video. Let me just make sure we got sound. Give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and put it back in here again. Make sure we got sound. Make sure you guys can hear it. Bam. Now, you should be able to hear it. All right, so I'm going to start the video.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm going to my job. I'm going to my job. Oh God.
Okay, y'all. So that's crazy. That's crazy. There's absolutely no way. I don't know what my reaction would have been if I had to come home and one of my children had tore up my house like that. I don't know what my reaction would have been, but I know what my reaction would have not been. It would have not been crying. I would not have been walking through my house crying. Not at that particular point. I don't know if I would have ever gotten to the point of tears. Because I think I was one of those mamas that my kids kind of knew what the end result of something like that would have been. So I am so blessed to say I never had that experience growing up. Not with my kids growing up. They never thought to tear up where we live. I didn't have bad kids. I don't have the horror stories, I'm sorry, that a lot of parents have when it comes to their children. I don't have it. My kids were typical bad. They weren't, out here robbing, thieving, tearing up my house. I didn't have those kind of problems. You know what I'm saying? But the problem nowadays when it comes to these younger parents, and I know, some people might look at this video like younger parents. I'm 50. My oldest child is about to be 32 this year. My baby is about to be 28. I got grandkids. So I'm qualified a little bit to talk to you young mamas out here raising these kids. I got a little something I can tell y'all, you got to establish, first of all, where a lot of young parents to me are messing up with nowadays is that they don't establish any fear in their kids. You know what I'm saying? Their kids are not afraid of them. And that's a problem when it comes to raising a child. And so much of this new age thinking and this new age parenting and stuff like that thinks that your kids shouldn't be afraid. They should be raised in a nurturing, safe environment where they should feel comfortable and free and safe. Yes, that's true. They should be nurtured. They should. you know. But you also have to have that component in there of establishing fear with your children. So, yes, you can have all of that nurturing and loving, and you can have all of that along with instilling in your children a healthy level of fear of you. So, and it may sound crazy to people who don't understand what being a skillful parent is. You know, when I was raising my kids had a healthy, I believe, fear of me. Um, they were never scared to come and tell me stuff. They wasn't scared to even admit to me that they had did something wrong. So you know they wasn't like abused children, because abused children would be their parent that they did anything wrong, because they would be afraid of being abused, right? So I believe children had a healthy fear of me, in the sense that they never thought that it would be okay to disrespect me in the way that I see a lot of children disrespecting their parents today and disrespecting adults today. So I think that the parents nowadays, though, may not know how to instill fear in their children without it crossing into the realm of abuse. Because you don't want to abuse your kids, but you want to make sure your kids understand that if that certain actions carry consequences. And I think a lot of the problem is too that we have a lot of parents who are not as close to God as maybe my generation of parents were. And don't get me wrong, I was not by any way, shape, or form a holy, saved, sanctified mama. No, I don't want nobody to get that impression of me. It wasn't until a point in my children's childhood that I got saved and turned my life over. But there was a portion where they was in the wild, wild west with me. That's all I can call it. That was my BC phase. They was out there in the wild, wild west with me. So they understood that their mama was not perfect. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, they also understood that when I said something, that was it. They understood that if I had a rule, it was for a reason. They understood that if I took something from them, they wasn't going to get it back. They understood when I sent them to school, there was a certain behavior that I expected of them, or there were going to be consequences. They knew that there were certain grades I expected from them, or there was going to be consequences. And it was going to be consequences that they were not going to like. See, but the problem nowadays is that you have too many parents who don't set those types of boundaries for their kids, because they themselves don't want to live in that type of boundary in their own life. You know, when you have, children, adult children, because everybody's supposed to be God's child, right? Everybody wants to be God's child until it's time to obey God's rules. But the thing about it, if you have adults that are disobedient to their heavenly Father, how can they then turn around and instill obedience into their kids, or even care that their kids are even disobedient? And don't get me wrong, like I told y'all, I was not a perfect mother, but my mama raised me with a certain level of discipline and obedience that was instilled in me that I just instilled in mine. So I can't even take full credit for the type of parent I was, because a lot of it came from the type of parent I had, because I learned things that I didn't want to do with my kids from my mom, and I learned things that I did want to do with my kids from my mom. But at the end of the day, we got to sit down as parents and determine, what is my outcome? What do I want my outcome to be? And so often we get these kids and we get these kids, but we don't sit down and look at them and say, okay, what do I want these kids to look like in 18 years? What do I want these kids to walk like, talk like, act like, and be like in 18 to 20 years? And I know what some of y'all thinking, I can't tell my kids how to act and tell my kids. It's not about you determining who they are. It's about you instilling certain qualities and characteristics in them that they develop along the way. But our job as parents is to plant the seed and give them those initial things that they need to develop. And give them to them early. So by the time that they're 18 to 20 years old, you're starting to see the fruit of the stuff that you done taught them, that lets you know that they're ready for adulthood. But if you're not instilling anything into these kids early on, then by the time that they 18, 19, 20, they're not ready to leave you. They're not ready to come from up under you, because you have not prepared them to walk out into this world. And I'm not necessarily saying that at 18, 19, and 20, your kids got to move out. They don't necessarily have to move out. I honestly think that that's sometimes not the best thing for that child. You have to do that on a case-by-case basis. But you still have to have them prepared to be entering into adulthood. I believe by the time they're 16, 17, they should be, pretty much flowing and functioning. So by the time that they legal, they're able to step into a job, step into college, step into adulthood with some idea of what they're doing. Don't just throw your kids into adulthood and they don't know what they're doing. The reason why you see a child tear up a house the way that you see this boy tearing up this house is little respect for their parent. That's the reason why a mother can come home and see something like that done in her house, because you have raised that child with no fear of you as a parent, with no fear of consequences of the things that they're doing. If that child understood the severity of consequences that they would have to face as a result of doing something like that, they wouldn't have done it. You understand? They wouldn't have done it. My thing is, okay, I see what he did. What will the consequences be? Severe enough for him to understand that that behavior is not acceptable. Because if he would do his own mom's house like that, because she punished him for taking his phone away, if he would do his own mom's house like that at 15, what would he do to a girlfriend that he's living with? And she said, oh, I want to break up. Let's separate. And she puts him out. That is such a sign of much greater problems with this child. But the root problem is that parent instilled no fear in that child. That child don't got to fear God in him nowhere. He don't have any fear of consequences for his actions at all. And where there's no fear instilled in a child, that's the kind of result you get for that. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next video, y'all. This one, Lord, maybe I did organize them according to how much they tick me off, but I think all three of these equally tick me off. Okay, so let's look at this video, y'all. This one, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Let's look.
Who are all these men that you got texting in your phone?
Can't have friends.
You got friends, but Eric specifically though, I seen some text messages in your phone from him talking about Boo and Bae. What's that about?
What about Eric? And why was you going through my phone?
Because.
And what text message are you even talking about?
I'm referring to the text message where it was like, "Ooh, baby, had a great time last night." What was the great time that y'all had last night?
Oh yeah, you mean when we went to the football game when we hung out?
Okay, you can say that now, but what I don't get is why would you be calling him Boo and Bae then? Okay, if that's just your homeboy and y'all going to games and stuff together, that's fine and dandy. But you call
Boo and Bae. Never done that.
Well, he said it. It was him saying it.
Okay, so then maybe you need to talk to him because
ain't no point in talking to Eric.
I don't understand why you coming up to me talking about named Eric, who's my homeboy, who I just hang out with every once and now and again.
Because you're my man.
And you shouldn't be going through my phone anyway. And what does me being in your name got anything to do with him? I'm here with you.
It has to do a lot with him because I want to understand why would you be calling him Boo or Bae?
I don't call him that.
Well, he's calling you that. So you gonna tell me the truth about your relationship?
So I'll have a conversation with Eric and I'll let him know that you're uncomfortable with his language. Because that sounds like something that's between you and him.
It's not something that's between you and him. Eric don't owe me. Yes, it does have something to do with you because it's you and me together.
Yes.
You and me together, and you're allowing that.
You're my man. You're my boo. So then why are you coming up to me talking about how some other dude is talking to me? I'm not talking to him that way.
But you're allowing him to talk to you like that. So make that make sense.
I'll have the conversation.
Make that make sense.
I'll have the conversation.
What do you mean you gonna have a conversation? Okay, well, cool.
Okay, y'all. So y'all heard that. That was a mess. So my whole thing is, okay, a lot of people want to maybe divert to the fact of why is she going through his phone. I'm going to answer that first and foremost because that's the first thing that the guy said to her when she brought up what was going on. So if you guys didn't get what was being said in the video, basically she, for whatever reason, I don't know what it was, started going through his phone. And then in going through his phone, she saw a conversation with a conversation between him and another man, where the other man is referring to her guy as Bae and Boo. So in referring to her guy as Bae and Boo, she like, this don't sound right. Like, why is he talking to him like that? So then when she goes to him about it, he starts to deflect. That was the first thing I started noticing that he was doing, was that he was deflecting. He's deflecting the fact that he knows that he's exposed. At that point, he's exposed. So instead of him answering to what he was exposed for, he wants to deflect and then try to focus on the violation of her going through his phone. So I get it to a certain extent, but I feel like if you're talking to your woman, and yeah, your woman just went through your phone, but your woman has discovered a conversation between you and another person. I'm going to say another person because it could be male or female, another person, period. So if your girl sees you having a conversation with another person that seems personal, that seems to be intimate, then at that point, when she's presenting you or confronting you with that information that she has, that proof, when she has hard, concrete proof smacking you in your face, the last thing that you need to be doing as a man at that point is trying to deflect that situation back on her for looking through your phone, because you have to assume in your brain her looking through that phone was canceled out by her wrong, and picking up that phone and looking at that phone was canceled out by any wrong that she found that you were doing in that phone. See, let that be the standard going forward. Okay? That's the way I believe it should be. If you get busted because your spouse, stop, I'm making myself laugh. If you get busted because your spouse looked in your phone and they got the proof right there in their hands, the fact that they went in your phone is automatically off the table. Automatically off the table. That is automatically canceled out by whatever wrong that they found in your phone. Let that be the record from now on. Make this go viral. When you're busted, the fact that your privacy was violated to get you busted is irrelevant at that point. Because if I'm your girl and I'm standing there and I got your phone in my hand, I got the text messages, I got the conversation, I got the proof. At that point, I don't care if you're offended because I went in your phone. At that point, I don't care that I violated your trust by going in your phone, because guess what? I just found out you violated my trust because you're messing around with another female. So we're even at this point. You violated my trust, I violated your trust. Now explain yourself. See, because my violation stops at the fact that I opened the phone. Your violation is what involving another whole human being. So then we need to get your violation cleared away first, because that's the most important violation on the table at this point. Yeah, I went in your phone. We can deal with that in a minute. Let's deal with this whole other person that's a part of our relationship now. Because too many people, when they get busted, like the guy in this video, focus on the fact that you went in a phone. How dare you go in my phone? How dare you go in my phone? Dude, you busted at this point. So, dealing with this specific video in itself, enough of a red flag. I don't know what else was, So the shirt, let's start with that shirt. That shirt is suspect, period, dot. And see, I'm the type of person, I'm not perfect with this by any way, shape, or form, because I feel like I've been duped by this same type of thing before myself. But, you got to really, to me, you got to really pay attention to your man. Pay attention to how he talk, pay attention to how he carry himself, pay attention to every little thing about him, because a lot of times, to me, there'd be a lot of red flags about these people before you even find out about them. That red flag was already out there. And see, what I learned in watching body language is that when people are guilty, especially guys, men, or whatever, they have a tendency to protect their growing area. And it's not that they touch it or anything. They just keep their hand covering it or blocking it or protecting it or whatever. I learned that by watching about micro expressions, little things that people do when they're lying or being dishonest that expresses the fact that they're lying or being dishonest. So if you pay attention to him while he's sitting there, the fact that he even stays seated the way he's sitting is a sign of guilt, first of all. Just the way he's sitting, very defensive, very closed off, feeling like he needs to protect himself. The way he's positioning his body is like he's putting himself in a little cocoon or a shell, he's protecting himself now because he's feeling exposed. And if there's something that if you're not guilty of anything, then you're not going to feel that exposure. But he's feeling exposed right now. He's feeling busted. So that's the reason why he's maintaining the stance that he's in, the position that he's in. And then he keeps his hand across his lap a lot, kind of covering up himself. So you pay attention to the little stuff that he's doing, you can tell that he's guilty anyway. But other than this one, to me, I feel like it's just obvious. Like, my thing is, okay, you didn't put this video out here. You didn't put him out here. Everybody know who he is, so that means they know who you are. What you gonna do? Are you gonna break up with him? Are you gonna be done with him? Like, what you gonna do at this point? At some point, you got to make a decision, so what you gonna do? That's all I can say about this one. Like, what is you gonna do? His whole reaction to it, to me, though, if it was me, I'd have been done. Like, there would be nothing to me, the conversation is fruitless. If it was for me, if it was me in her shoes, the conversation for me is fruitless. Because once I get the rock hard evidence in my hand, unless there's a consideration somewhere in my spirit that I'm willing to forgive you for what I done found, then there's no need for that type of conversation right there. It's time to go. It's ready to go. Pack up your bags. Boo, bye, bam, bump, we go. There's nothing to talk about at that point. So then what's the point of putting it on video and putting them out there for other women? Yeah, make sure they know what's going on with them. Maybe, I guess that was a benefit to putting it out there. But I hope she'd have made it up in her mind before she get to this point that she already done with him. Because, to me, it would be over at that point. I don't know nothing else to talk about. That's done. Okay, so next video, y'all. We got one more video. This is interesting too. Now, maybe I wasn't completely honest because I said I did not organize these videos in order of any type of importance but I think this video did upset me more than the rest of them. Maybe. I thought they upset me equally, but as I talked about the first two videos, I'm not as upset about them as I think I might be when I talk about this one. So let's play this video.
I don't think this is fair. Like, I understand this is a house, Ms. Lee, but I don't think this is fair.
Okay, let me set this up for you a little bit. Y'all probably seen this video before, but this is a man who has started recording his either girlfriend or wife's mother in her home while he's in her home. Now, the situation is that him, his wife, and the kids are all been evicted from wherever they were living. Okay. And the wife and the kids have been invited to stay with her mom at her house. But when the husband got there, the mom said, okay, daughter, you and the kids can stay, but homeboy, he got to find other accommodations. He can't stay at my house because you guys have been in this situation too many times, and he needs to be more responsible and making sure he can keep a roof over y'all head. And so what I'm gonna do to help y'all out is I'm gonna look out for you as my child and my grandkids, but he gotta find his own way as a grown man. So that's what mama said. But I'm gonna play the video just in case y'all don't hear it all correctly, but I just want to make sure y'all kind of understand what's going on here.
Here.
I know it's not really all his fault. Can we stay here?
Mommy,
Can we just
y'all can stay, but
he can't stay. Why not?
Well, I don't understand. Like, this is my, like, we a family. Like, I understand, like, this is your house, but, like, I'm not leaving my family. So what you expect me to do?
I don't know what you gonna do, but you just can't stay here. Her and the kids can stay as long as they like.
But Sean is a part of the family, so he gotta. So what he gotta stay at a hotel? Like what?
If you're trying to follow him, I suppose so.
No, I don't think
Are you
that's
recording this? Don't record this.
no, man, because that's bogus. That's bogus. Like, I ain't finna cuss in just your house. I want to get loud. I ain't about to do that, but I literally can't stay here. Like, I have nowhere to go. We all got evicted. Like, I know you trying to say I'm the man and I was supposed to take responsibility, but life happens. Like, I don't understand why I can't stay here, Ms. Lee.
Stop.
I don't understand why I can't stay here.
Well,
Maybe just for like a week. Just a week, maybe. And then
I mean, she just said y'all can stay as long as y'all need to, but I gotta
that's what I'm
leave.
trying to ask her if you can stay for a week. Just at least a week. So you don't have to be out on the street by yourself.
So you gonna stay here even though I can't stay here? That's what I'm asking you. You still just stay here and knowing I can't stay here?
Where else is we gonna go?
That's not the point though. Like, we supposed to be together on this. You finna let me sleep outside on the
I didn't
curb.
say you can sleep, but I'm trying to get you to be able to stay here. You don't want to stay here or not?
I don't want to be somewhere where I'm not welcome. She just said I can't stay here.
You know, she might change her mind.
So I can't stay here.
Just for a week. Come on.
I can't stay here, Ms. Lee.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Why?
Why y'all made no effort, or you didn't get a job or something so that y'all
Well, you
can
know,
have-
school just started, and I had to get groceries, and then my partner was due, and then I had to pay the insurance. So it just fell behind. A lot of things just fell behind. It's not even probably gonna be that long. I think a month actually for all of us, just a month. We'll
You
stay.
just said a week.
Yeah, just a week.
ago.
But
Now you done changed it to a month.
I'm only changing it to a month because it's the end of this month. And it's gonna take at least about 2 weeks for me to find a place.
Man, I'm not finna argue. I'm not finna argue about staying here. I'm
You
not
know I
finna do that.
love you, but it's just sometimes if people don't put effort or something to do better.
We did what we had to do.
Like, we just put, this is like the money, the little money we did have left. We had to put all our stuff in storage. Like, this is all we brought over here. Like I don't understand why I gotta sleep outside while they can sleep in here comfortably. Like, it's already bad out here. Like, people out here killing people, robbing people, and I gotta sleep outside. That's crazy to me, bro. Like,
Nobody said you had to sleep outside.
where else I'm gonna go? Where else I'm gonna go?
Nobody said you.
Where else I'm gonna go, Sierra?
We're trying
Where
to
else I'm
figure
gonna
this
go?
out. We're trying to figure this out.
I understand we trying to figure it out, but I don't understand why Ms. Lee not letting me stay here. Like, I'm not. What is your reasoning for I really can't stay, but everybody else can stay? What you think I'm gonna do?
Well, maybe get a job and start getting money.
A
saved
job.
so that y'all can get
Okay,
a
but I have to
place.
have somewhere to sleep so I can go to a job. Like, I don't even have nowhere to sleep because you're not letting me stay here. I'm confused why I can't stay here.
You're gonna. So it's not gonna be.
What do you?
I mean, what's the deep down issue? Is it like just because it's Sean or?
Yeah, what is the issue? Please let us know.
Well, this is not the first time things has been out of secret. Stop. I'm just saying what. I'm trying to get y'all to make better decisions with
So the better decision is for me to be outside. Okay.
All like that.
You have to listen to her.
I am listening, but I'm
But
confused.
you're
Like,
arguing back and forth.
because it's like not making no sense to me why I'm gotta sleep outside. This is what I'm trying to get to you, Sierra, and you ain't behind me right now at all. Like,
I am. I'm trying
How?
to get you to be able to stay. If you be quiet and just listen, I'm trying to get you to be able to say. She's telling us she's talking, and then you keep interrupting her. Like,
because she ain't getting to the point. Like,
get to the point.
She don't gotta explain nothing to you.
this shit
All we really
frustrating.
need is like
Like, what is wrong with you?
this month, bro. Just all of us.
Y'all gonna stay for a month. I'm
No,
not
you're
staying.
gonna stay too, right?
And why is you disrespecting your mama? She said no. Like, how you gonna tell him he gonna stay?
I'm asking.
Man, y'all is-
Can you order just a month? That's all we need. 30 days.
Is
All right, I'm gone. I'm gone. It's good.
So we're gonna go.
I don't know where I'm finna go. Bye, baby.
So where you about to go? You
I
about to
don't
just
know
leave?
where I'm about to go.
So you about to just go?
Come here, son.
She just too worried about where he gonna go lay his head. She
I
worried about
appreciate
him
you.
laying up with some
I'm
other kid.
gone. Y'all,
That's all she
y'all,
concerned
just call me. I'm not angry. I'm not angry. I'm not angry because I'm done with the conversation. She just said I can't stay here. I'm not gonna be begging to be somewhere I'm not welcome.
So then where you finna go?
I don't know where I'm finna go. I'm gonna figure it out. What you talking about?
So she's so worried about where he about to go. Obviously, there's been a lot of drama between them two. I can see it just looking at the situation. Seems to me like he probably done cheated on her before or whatever. And so she's so desperate to keep him up under her. She don't know where he about to go. Where he about to go? Where he about to go? Where he about to go? She more concerned about where he about to go. Don't worry about you and your kids got a place to lay your head thanks to your mama because your guy didn't help you keep a place to stay. So that's what I think this one did kind of upset me more than anything because first of all, sir, you do not put on a camera in because see, my daughter is 28. She about to be 28 this year. So she old enough to, well, no, she ain't gonna never be in no situation like this because it just she know better. You know, that's first of all, she know better. Okay, second of all, why do you have a video camera on in my mama house? Like, imagine this is me and this is my daughter. Why do you got a video camera on in your wife's mother house, recording her, trying to emotionally blackmail and bully her into letting you stay at her house because you obviously was not man enough to take care of your bills, take care of your family, and keep them in your own house. And this ain't the first time that you done had your wife and your children in this same situation. So mama said, no, your wife and your kids can stay at my house. But you got to go take your grown behind somewhere else and find you some other accommodations. Okay? You don't have any right to be standing there saying none of what you said. First of all, you shouldn't even parted your lips to ask her, can you stay there? Where's your family, sir? Where's your mom? Where's your dad? Where's your brothers? Where's your sisters? Where's your cousins? Where's your friends? You should have never parted your lips to even ask your wife's mother, can you stay at her house? That should have been the last place you should have wanted to lay your head, knowing that as the man, you was not able to keep a roof over your family's head. If I was a man, I wouldn't have wanted to stay at my spouse's parents' house. I wouldn't have wanted to stay there. If I was a man and I wasn't man enough to keep a roof over my wife and children's head, if I wasn't man enough to handle my business, the last thing I would have wanted to do was live with her parents. kind of men do we have in 2023? What is wrong with these men in 2023? That they just think it's okay to live off women. And I blame the older generation of men for this. Because you've taught this generation of men nothing about being a man. I blame the granddads who were never dads in the first place, who taught their children, their sons, nothing about being men. You taught them how to become fathers. You taught them all about how to go out there and make a baby. You taught them all about how to go out there and get a woman. You put them up to all the game in the world. But yet you ain't teach them nothing about being a man. You ain't teach them nothing about being a decent father. And then we wondering why we got our youth running around out here like they crazy nowadays. We wonder why marriages don't survive. It's because we, as parents, are not doing our job as parents. We're so busy out here doing everything we think we grown enough to do because we're the parents now, that we're not taking our time to teach our children about what it means to become an adult. We're out here busy doing whatever it is we got to do. And we can't defend everything our child does wrong. Go ahead. But we have to make sure we take care of teaching them the stuff that they need to know to make them functioning, successful, moral, responsible adults. And it starts with taking care of the children you produce. That should be the first thing you should be instilling into your child as they become a young adult. Look, you out here doing the do. You need to understand whatever you do as a result of doing the do is on you. You don't get to be out here planting seed and then run when the fruit pop up. You can't be out here being the man out here big in these streets, planting seed everywhere. And then when the baby come crying, you ain't nowhere to be found. And see, and I gotta partly blame women for this too. Not necessarily the mother, but the women who deal with these no good men. They do this kind of stuff. If you got a man, you listen to this video, you got a man. And he has kids. If you don't know for a fact that this man is physically taking care of them kids, if you don't see him taking stuff and providing and doing, and you don't see that child support amount come out of his check, how can you be with a man that doesn't take care of his kids? We as women have got to stop accepting men who are not fulfilling the responsibilities that they already have prior to meeting you. If prior to meeting me, you are not already taking care of your kids, then what do I want you for? What do I need you for? What can you do for me and mine if you're not already taking care of you and yours? You still mooching off of mama, hopping from one woman to the next. What can you do for me? I don't want a man who does not have his own place. And I don't mean sharing a roommate with his brother, roommate with his cousin, roommate with, I don't care, his own place. Because if you cannot show me that you can maintain a household all by yourself, then I know for a fact you can't take care of me. Because if I can hold down a household by myself, you should be able to hold down a household by yourself. And see, too many women hooking up with men that jump from mama to you without no kind of foundation. And I know the Bible says a man leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife. But that time as an adult with his mother and father should be a time where he's gathering, saving, accumulating. So when he does leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife, his father, as Adam's father did to him, God, provide him with everything he needed to be able to take care of the wife God gave him. But you got too many men who don't have nothing, whose total existence and financial viability is hitched to the woman that they're with. Let me tell y'all something. You'll never know if a man truly loves you if his financial stability is dependent on you. That's the reason why I don't want a man that don't have his own house, who don't have his own car, who don't have his own job. When I meet him, he needs to have his own. Because I don't want anybody who is not financially capable of holding down a household by himself. Does that mean that I'm not going to put in on the household if we together? Of course. But I don't want a man who's not financially able to do it by himself. Because I don't want anybody that's financially dependent on me. Because as long as your livelihood and your existence is dependent on me providing for you, I will never know if you truly love me or not. And I don't know how other women do it. Honestly, I don't know how other women are with men that they are financially taking heart that this man truly loves them at the same time. There's no way I could do that. Maybe I'm different. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I don't know. But me as a woman, if I have to take care of a grown man, I'm not going to believe he loved me until he's able to take care of himself. Because when a man got everything that he wants, when a man can provide for himself, then the woman that he chooses at that point is who he really wants. That's somebody he wants to have in his life because he doesn't need her because he's paying his own rent. He's paying his own car. He's paying his own bills. He's taking care of his own self. So I know then when he chooses me, he's choosing me because he needs me in his life for what I am and who I am and what I bring. Not because he is not going to survive without me. I don't want a man that can't financially survive without me. Because then do you really love me? Do you really care about me? Or am I here because I fit in your life financially, which enables you to do whatever else it is you're doing out there in the world that may not even include me? To me, the reason why a lot of women getting cheated on in these relationships is because you're the financial head of the relationship. Yeah. See, you thinking out here taking care of him, looking out for him, holding him down was going to keep him faithful. No, you giving him everything he need to go out there and cheat. He got plenty of time to do it too, because you don't even make sure he got to have a job. He can go out here and do whatever he wants because you paying the bills. You even giving him transportation. You giving him a car to drive around too. You wash his clothes. You make sure he clean for the other woman. And then on his birthday and Christmas and Father's Day, you buy him cologne so he smell good. You buy him clothes so he look good. The little money he make, he can go take care of his haircut and make sure he look good. Because you as the woman, you paying for everything else. The reason why you getting cheated on is because you taking care of him. Stop taking care of him, and guess what happens? You won't get cheated on. You know why you won't get cheated on? Because he gonna leave. And he gonna go find somebody else. You won't get cheated on by him because he gonna be out the door. Because he's looking for a woman to take care of him. A lot of men nowadays are gigolos. They're looking for a woman to take care of them. And see, I'm not going to give you advice that I wouldn't take myself. I found myself in a very situation where I'm married, and this person, couldn't say what I was about to say, thought that I was going to take care of the household. Thought that I was going to pay all the rent. I was going to pay all the bills. I was going to pay everything in the household so he can do whatever he wants with his money because he was getting child support taken out of his check. So somehow that became my responsibility. And because of all of that, I'm supposed to pay everything in the household so he can have money to go do what he want to do. No. I would never pay more than half. I'm not going to take care of you. And I don't even really like doing the half things. I feel like a man's supposed to be the provider, but in all interest of fairness, I have no problem with meeting you halfway. But I will never be that woman taking care of a grown man. Imagine me taking care of an able-bodied grown man. But to me, in each one of the situations in these videos that we looked at is all about boundaries. You know, it's all about setting boundaries, clear, definitive boundaries. You know, making sure people understand that there are consequences to things that they do. And then when you feel like or find out that you've been violated, you need to be prepared to make sure that they face the consequences that you told them that they would face. Because if you set a standard, if you establish consequences, but then when those things happen and when those violations take place and you don't make them deal with the consequences that you have set forth, then you've invalidated yourself as anybody that they will have respect for going forward. So that's my take on this situation. This is my idea of the situation. If you guys learned anything from me today, I appreciate it. And see you guys next time. Bye-bye.